You're listening to Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk. Each week, your host, Polly Requa, interviews veterinarians and individuals in the pet industry from across the nation answering pet questions. Bark and Wag podcast is produced weekly for your enjoyment, and show notes can be found at barkandwag.com under the podcast tab. That's barknwag.com. Please remember to subscribe to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk.
Thank you for listening to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. Bark and Wag is dedicated to protecting our dogs through advocacy, education, and supporting like-minded dog lovers by selling custom pet products. Bark and Wag is excited to announce our new partnership with a Colorado hemp farm to produce a line of CBD products for your pets. Bark and Wag has CBD pet tincture available in 300, 750, 1200, and 2400 milligrams. Bark and Wag CBD is pet safe, no THC, it's made in the USA, and is CO2 extracted. Please check out Bark and Wag's website, barkandwag.com. That is BARK, to see our line of CBD and awesome merchandise. We love pooch ideas for podcasts and merchandise, so anytime send an email to Polly at barkandwag.com with your suggestions.
Welcome to Bark and Wag 15-Minute Vet Talk. I'm your host, Polly Requa. Today we're talking to Tami Hendricks. Tami is an intuitive animal communicator, a compassionate medium, and a healer committed to helping relationships transform on every level. Tami is the owner of SoulSpeak. Well, welcome back, Tami Hendricks. It's so nice to have you back on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, what I wanted to do is see if you could give an exercise for the listeners.
I would love to do that. I am all about experiential life because we learn from direct experience and we long to communicate with our own animals. And so, yes, I'd be happy to do that. And it's going to be an exercise that will use your heart as a perceptual center. In other words, you'll see and sense the world around you with your heart as if you had eyes in your heart. So this was very natural for me growing up. And it allowed me to let the world in and see things from a much different perspective. It evokes a sense of intimate connection. So if everybody's ready and you're ready, you'll need a paper and pen. So what I want you to do for seeing through the eyes of your heart is drop into your heart space. Drop into the center of your chest area. And just notice what you feel. Is there an expansion? Is there warmth? Is it soft? Is it quiet? Next, imagine that you're watching the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen. Does your heart open up? Beauty tends to bring us into a sense of availability to what's around us. Now, imagine that you're sitting in front of your beloved pet friend. Whether they've passed or whether they're still here, it doesn't matter. They are here. Can you feel their fur? Can you sense their mood? What do you feel in your heart when you gaze quietly, just being the observer, taking in all the sights, sounds, feelings? Is your pet staring back at you? Now notice what you feel in your heart space because you've now opened a portal, a heart portal, where all information flows back and forth. Feel what you see and sense. Write down all the words, feelings that come. Don't analyze. Just write. It may not make sense. Doesn't matter. Words, snippets, images, just write them down. Because you're opening into a sacred space, one that you can tap into at any time. In fact, what if we did this several times a day with an animal, or a tree, a flower, or another person? Can you imagine opening up your heart space and letting love flow through? The next step in this exercise is notice what you notice. Look back on your day. What things stood out to you? Did you notice a particular person at the post office? Did your attention pick up something going on down the street? Did you have a dream last night and only remember certain parts? What do you notice that you're not paying attention to, that you're not aware of in the moment? Intuition is always in the moment. Intuition is awareness that taps into the field of energy and information that's always around you. You can take this exercise and make it a practice in daily life. It's the gift that can go forward that helps you be more aware and naturally opens a space where the animals live. So I hope that was helpful.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, I was glad to do it. It's always wonderful to help people understand what the animals already understand, that we come equipped with communication skills, and our hearts are the center of that. It's always the connection through the heart.
Yeah, animals are wonderful. So how do people get a hold of you?
People can email me at Tami@TamiHendricks.com. They can go to my website, TamiHendricks.com, where I have lots of information from my shows. I'll have my replays that are on there, information about the different kinds of sessions they can sign up for, one-on-ones, and any kind of upcoming events that I have. And then I also have all my blog posts on there. I also write about the animals and will post it there. So there's lots of different ways they can connect. I'm all about connection.
Well, that's just wonderful. I mean, what a gift. So I hope the listeners take advantage of contacting you, and I certainly hope you will come back on the podcast.
Oh, I would love to. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was an honor.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address, www.barkandwag.com, to your friends and other pet owners. Have a pressing question for a veterinarian? Ask your question at barkandwag.com under the podcast tab. This has been a KFR production. Join us next time for another edition of Bark and Wag's 15-Minute Vet Talk.